Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable conversation heart cake pops for Valentine's Day. These are the ingredients that you'll need, so let's get started. I'm going to start off making my cake pops here. I have got half of a boxed cake mix that I made up and let cool, and using my hands I'm just going to crumble this up into a large bowl until I get nice and fine crumbs. Now once my cake is in nice tiny little crumbs, I'm going to take some pre-made frosting here. You could use homemade if you want to take the time to make that. I'm going to be using about a half a cup of the frosting. I'm just going to mix this together until it forms kind of like a dough-like consistency. I went out and got a silicone mold to make these cake pops. You can buy these at most candy or craft shops. Big box stores also have these. This particular mold happens to have 24 heart shapes in it. If you don't want to use a mold, by all means, you can just use a cookie cutter and use that for your mold. That works just fine as well. Takes a little bit more time, but it is doable. I'm just going to take a little bit of my cake and frosting mixture, and I'm going to press it down into my mold firmly. You want to make sure and get it down into the nooks and crannies of your mold, so you don't have any air bubbles or anything like that, and then smooth it out on top. And once you're done, you want to put this into the freezer for about an hour, or in the refrigerator overnight to let this chill completely. And once these are nice and cold, you can go ahead and pop these out of your mold. And then I like to go through and kind of round out the corners here. Now you want to take your lollipop stick and gently twisting it, insert this into the bottom of each heart. Now normally you would dip the ends of the lollipop stick in melted candy coating so they stick in there better. I don't normally have a problem with it, so I just skip that step. And then I put it onto a silicone lined baking sheet, and I'm going to pop this back into the refrigerator for another 20-30 minutes or so they stay nice and cold. Meanwhile, I'm going to get my candy melts ready. I've got about 2 ounces of candy melts, and I put those into individual bowls. And to each bowl, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vegetable oil. This will help keep the candy nice and smooth and kind of give it a runny consistency, so it'll be easier to dip our cake pops. And I put that candy coating into the microwave for about 30 seconds, stirred it, put it in for another 30 seconds, stirred it again, and now we are ready to dip our cake pops. Now what I like to do is use a spoon to get the coating right up around that stick. That'll help keep the cake pop on the stick. And then I'm just going to swirl it around in that candy coating, making sure that I get every little nook and cranny covered. I'm going to gently wipe off the bottom, not too much because you don't want that cake to be exposed. And I'm going to set that down and let that harden up. I'm going to go through and continue on with the rest of my cake pops. And once you get all your pops coated, go ahead and let these firm up, and then we can start writing on them. Now you can see here by adding vegetable oil to our candy melts, it gave us a nice smooth finish, and this is what we're looking for. It'll make writing on these a lot easier. Now I'm going to be painting the messages on here, so I'm going to be using Americolor Flow Coat, as well as Americolor Super Red food coloring. The reason I'm using the Flow Coat, which really all it is bottled lecithin, because the candy coating is oil-based and the food coloring is water-based, the food coloring tends to kind of bead up on the surface. So by adding that Flow Coat in there, it'll give you nice smooth lettering on your cake pops. Now you can also make up a batch of royal icing and pipe it out onto the top. You could also melt some red candy melts down, put those into a piping bag with a small fine tip on it, and pipe that out on top. I just find it easier to paint these on. And you can write out whatever messages you want on these. You can even do anti-Valentine's Day messages. And there you have it. How to make conversation heart cake pops. Hope you guys enjoy, and thanks so much for watching.